Hi, I'm Marc, CEO and founder of Robertson Sumner. Welcome to the Channel Chat podcast, where we will share learnings, best practices and failures with some of the biggest names in the IT industry. Hello, I'm Marc Sumner, host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and today I had Sonny Sehgal in the studio from Transputec. Very interesting conversation with him about how he's actually keeping the well-being of his staff and using collaborative methods around that. So sit back, listen and enjoy. How are your customers adapting to the home working solutions that you're trying to provide yourself? How are they coping?
So some of them are coping really quite well. Some of them have had huge challenges, of course. Some are not used to working in such a remote way. Some have got solutions like VPNs and VDI solutions already in place, but it varies. So I would say some of them handled it very well and they've gone into remote working mode very quickly. Others have really quite struggled and are still struggling. They may have hundreds of people working from home, and suddenly they've got to enable these guys. Some have thrown laptops up them, company-based laptops. Others have said, use your BYOD device and come in through our VPN and get onto the back-end servers and carry on doing what you're doing. But that raises security issues. So there's been a big challenge for everybody, I think.
No, and in terms of client communication, Sonny, I've been speaking to a lot of reseller partners, and they seem to have been doing landing pages and putting out obviously rapid communications in terms of this is what you should be doing and this is what you should be doing from homework and etc. etc. Have you changed the way you've actually communicated with your clients, or is it just naturally business as usual?
Yeah, for us, it's been business as usual. We've had a lot more incoming traffic from clients and demands from clients in terms of resourcing and solutions that they need to implement. But it's actually business as usual. I'd say that we've had an increase in business over this last month or so, just dealing with the demand of people and their the scurry to get things in a remote working way.
And in terms of actually getting stock to them, I've spoken to a lot of people in the market, and they're saying obviously the supply to get stock is very challenging. I.e., they go to a distributor and 200 laptops come up, and by the time they've quoted the client, they've gone back to the distributor and the stock's gone. How are you adjusting to that sort of rapid loss of actual products in the market and the demands from obviously not just maybe the NHS you may be dealing with or but from clients of actually asking for stock that you can't get?
It is a huge challenge, and there are only certain numbers of distributors that hold the stocks that are needed for the channel, of course, and there's a lot of scurry to get access to that stock. So we work very collaboratively with a lot of the distries, and where we have firmed up a requirement from a client, we would actually buy that stock and give a purchase order to hold it for us, and then we would draw it down. The speculation of we might need that stock, I think you're absolutely right. Stock is moving very quick, and there is a general shortage of laptops now.
Would you go as far as to say, would you take a chance on buying stock on the basis you might not have the order? Because obviously there's just the stock might not be there. I.e., it's a bit of like shares. By the time there might be stock coming available, are you actually taking risk and thinking, actually, I'll buy that stock in the chance of actually selling it, or are you actually still waiting until you've got a confirmed PO?
We're taking a view that we have a confirmed PO because the margin on hardware now is, and the risk factor is too high in this particular case.
Right. Okay. And in terms of actually your company moving forward, how do you see your company adapting? You've said earlier that potentially it hasn't affected you, and you had people around the world working to this from VDIs, etc. But how are you actually coping in terms of the cultural piece? Getting people into the office and collaboration, etc. How are you adapting to that? Because for us, it's been a real struggle. Yes, we've got Zoom meetings. Yes, we've got Teams, but we're so used to being in the office and collaborating in person. It's been really hard work to adjust to. How are you adjusting to it at Transputec?
So I would say probably about 2/3 of our business has always been based on remote location. So we've got people distributed around the world. So we've always used tools and collaboration tools to communicate with all of our teams effectively. However, the remaining third, where we're based in an office and having face interaction, that's been tough. because people are not used to working from home, and we're using technologies like we've developed called crisis control to monitor the well-being of people. And that was really important for us to see their state of mind, see how they're feeling, and make sure that we've got a control over that particular, I would say, hidden factor, which not many people are considering at the moment. Yes. Because as people work from home, they're not used to.
Again, you're using what for the hidden factor? What are you using at the moment?
So we've developed a product called Crisis Control, and it's a business continuity tool that's based on an app, and we send out regular messages to all of our employees, checking the well-being and their state, basically seeing how they're feeling, and they answer very simple questions, and we monitor that, and our HR have got a very tight control over how to. As they go from working from an office with interaction with people to, a home environment where they may be distracted by kids, or they may be feeling ill generally because of this COVID, we want to know about it, and we want to be able to take action accordingly and provide some support to individuals.
Sonny, I think that's great. I actually really think that's great. I've never heard anyone doing that. So just to summarize, you've got a crisis app that you can send out to your employees. They can actually report back to your HR team, and your HR team can act immediately if there's any problems.
Absolutely. So we send out every day a very simple questionnaire checking the well-being and the health of all of our employees, and they just have to reply to that question. It's just a simple tick thing, and that goes back into a portal, and our HR has full visibility of how many people have responded, what their state of affair is. So we've got actually in our business a health barometer of our employees.
Perfect.
And our HR have been really proactive to make sure that they can dive in quickly and deal with specific issues. If someone, for example, is suffering some particular issues because of COVID, then maybe we can provide some support or take away the workload and distribute it amongst other people.
Sonny, do you know what? I need the app. You have to give it to me as well. That sounds great. Fantastic. Really.
I'll put you in touch with my team who can let you have that, because I think that this app, we designed it originally for business continuity, and it's an app in itself. It's downloadable from the you can download it yourself. But we've used it specifically in our HR capacity, particularly in this really weird pandemic that we've got going on. And we all miss the fact that actually human beings, when they work in isolation, firstly, are they efficient? Do they have other issues that could be causing them to be ill, or these things we're not taking into consideration. I think with the app we've got a bit of a monitor on it, and we've got complete auditability as well.
Yeah, it's like like you said it, and like a mental health awareness barometer. You've got a barometer of obviously the well-being of your staff, which I think is great, and the channel would that's something I think every channel company should be using at the moment. In terms of let's talk about office space now. I've got an office in Gerrards Cross. I've got 3,000 square foot. Next year, I was actually thinking about getting a double the size of office because I was going to expand and go to 40 people. Now, I'm not so sure. I'm thinking probably I'll actually stay where I am, or maybe not stay where I am, but keep the same office space. Do you think that companies are going to rethink their strategy around office space and what they actually use it for, whether they use it for meetings and getting customers in, etc., rather than just desks of people that are fixed units? Because actually now, people are having business as normal, but they aren't in the office all the time. So what do you think people are going to think around sort of fixed cost and office space?
So I think as people settle down into this home working mode, I think businesses will have to really rethink whether they need such vast amounts of office space, and can their user base work remotely from home. We've been forced into that in recent times. We will settle down into this mode, I suspect. We'll find a stable ground where we are starting to work efficiently and can do the jobs that we need to do. And then I definitely think we'll have to have questions on whether do we really need that fancy office space in central London that houses 200 people? Or could that be a smaller space? So I think definitely your question is very valid. And I think people will definitely thinking about that in the future, for sure.
And okay, and we've talked about your existing staff, potentially new staff, and attracting new staff to your company. How do you think you'll look at onboarding new staff if this, say, lasts 6 months? Would you think, actually, I'll just hold off for 6 months, or will you actually think I'll onboard staff, or do videos remotely and onboard people remotely if I can?
Actually, we're still on a recruitment campaign at the moment, so we've taken on quite a probably about 4 or 5 staff just recently, even during March, during this pandemic. The process we have is very meticulous and well defined within our company in terms of how we recruit staff, how we interview them, how we do some online testing, how we qualify their job roles, and how they are then onboarded into the various departments that they're going to be working in. So program for that. And not only that, we also have a meticulous training program that we need to keep staff aware of, and then we monitor that and make sure they follow those, the training guides and processes along the way.
Fantastic. Okay, so it sounds like you got that locked down. That's good. That's good. That's good. In terms of,
it's always improving. It's always improving. Lovely, yeah. For sure.
Nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. If you were going to give any advice to other partners or retailers or distributors out there that are struggling to manage their staff remotely, maybe they're not as used to that home working element that you've got. They've suddenly just thought, actually, we have been forced into this situation. How do you think people can best effectively manage their staff when maybe they haven't used to having virtual meetings, etc.? But how can they actually get the best out of them?
I think that there's a simple word: communication. You got to talk to everybody if you don't talk to people on a regular basis, you will find that staff will feel alienated, and this is really the most important factor. Talk to them, because right now people are feeling a bit weird. They're feeling nervous. They're feeling nervous about not only their jobs but the economy, what's going to happen in the future. They're feeling scared about their health, of course. So really communicate with your staff on a regular basis is probably the key message that I can send out to any partner out there that's going into this remote working mode. And the more you do that, the more you'll have people engaged, and the more they'll be with you once we come out of this.
Thanks for joining us and listening to another episode of our Channel Chat podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and are listening on iTunes, please could you give us a review and subscribe in order to get the newest episodes as soon as they're released. Otherwise, as always, we release an episode every Thursday at midday, so hopefully you can join us then.